So in this lecture, let's actually go ahead and display the price of the items from the local storage to the checkout page. So let's go to the checkout.html file, and in here, let's actually figure out a way to get the items from the local storage. So if you have a look at this particular thing, we have basically got the cart from the local storage and we have stored it in the local JavaScript variable, which is cart right here. That means we already have access to the cart variable right here, and from here, for each item, we just want to get access to its price. So as you can see here, we have got access to the name, we have got access to the quantity, and in the same manner, we just now need to go ahead and get access to the price. So for price, I'll say something like let price equals, and then I'll type in cart of item ID or cart of item. And then, as I earlier mentioned, the price is actually stored at index position 2. So simply type in 2 over here. So now we got access to the price from the local storage. Now what we essentially want to do is that we simply want to go ahead and display that price up over here by passing it to the checkout page. So as you can see, we have used this item string to pass the name and the quantity of the item using the list item, and we do the same thing with the price as well. So let's go ahead and modify this thing a little bit, and instead of showing them like that, let's go ahead and use a span class. So I'll say something like span class equals, and let's say that's going to be empty for now, and let's go ahead and include this in a span tag as well. So I'll type in /span, and now let's add another span class over here to display the price as well. So I'll simply go ahead, copy that, paste it over here, and now in place of the quantity, I'll simply go ahead and type in price. So I'll type in price in here, and that's it. That's how simple it is to actually go ahead and display those items up over here. So now when I hit refresh, as you can see, we now do have the quantity as well, but as you can see, the quantity and price happen to just concatenate because we have not included any kind of space in here. So in order to solve this particular issue, let's actually go ahead and assign the price a different span class. So for this, I'll simply go ahead and type in the class as badge, as we need to display it as a badge, and I'll type something like badge dash, let's say warning, and I'll say something like badge pill. So these are nothing but they are actually the bootstrap classes to change the look and feel of the price. So when I hit refresh, as you can see, now the price is displayed over here. So for 3 watches, the total price is 300, and for 2 bikes, we have the price as 600. So one more thing which we can do over here is that we can modify this thing to say something like let's say 2 of this particular item, and then we can display the price. So what I can do here is that I can simply cut this thing from here, and I'll say something like this, then I'll say off, and then we'll display the item name, and then we will have the price up over here. So hopefully this thing should work. So now if we go back and hit refresh, I guess it actually went out of the span class, and we don't want that. So let's actually get this thing cut from here and have it include right over here. And now it should actually work fine. And now when I hit refresh, as you can see, we have 3 of XYZ watches which cost 300. We have 2 of bike which actually cost 600. So we can go ahead and customize this thing later and style it in a much more better way. But now the next thing which we wish to do over here is that now we need to calculate the total of all the items added over here. So for example, now we have the total for each individual items, but now we also need to have the final sum, that is the final amount which we need to pay. So 600 plus 300, so we need a way to display 900 up over here as the total order amount. So now in order to do that, it's actually quite simple. You just need to go ahead, go into your checkout page, And in here we need to go exactly right where we actually add the price of the individual items. So if we scroll down a little bit, so right over here, what we do is that we go ahead and make use of the price which is actually stored and calculate the total. So in here, as we already loop through all the items in here and we have the price of those individual items, now we simply need to calculate the total. So first of all, I'll go ahead and create a variable called as total. So I'll say let total equals 0. And now we actually need to loop through and add the amount to the total. And one more thing which you need to take care of is that you actually need to go ahead, cut this total from here and paste it out of the loop over here, because every time the loop executes, the value of total would actually become 0. So in here, I can simply type in total equals total plus the individual price of each item, which is nothing but cart of item of 2. So I can say cart item of, and then simply have 2 over here. So that's actually going to loop through all the individual prices and it's going to add it up to the total. Now once we have this particular total, now we can actually go ahead and display this total up on the checkout page. So what we will do here is that we'll go ahead and add or create another string for the total over here. So I'll say something like total price equals, and in here let's go ahead and create the list item class. So I'll go ahead and use the same syntax which we have used over here. So I'll use this sign. So inside of these quotes, I'll go ahead and create a li class. So I'll say li class equals, that's going to be list group item, and I'll add a few more properties in here. So I'll say something like deflex justify content between and align items to the center. So these are nothing but the bootstrap classes. And in here, now let me just go ahead and the li tag, and let me just actually display the total over here in bold letters. So I'll use the b tag in here for making the price bold, and I'll say something like, let's say your total, and now let me just go ahead and add the total over here by typing in a $sign. So I'll say dollar and then total. And now once we have the string, let me make sure that everything is correct and everything seems to be okay. But one thing which you need to remember is that as we only want to display this total price one time, so you can actually go ahead, cut this from here, and instead of having it placed inside the for loop, you can actually go ahead and place it outside the for loop right over here, because you don't obviously want to go ahead and loop through the total price every time this loop executes. So make sure that you get it out over here. And once we have this thing over here, we can now go ahead and assign this particular total price string to the unordered list right here. So now in order to assign the total price to the unordered list, we will go ahead and make use of this particular ID. So we can simply scroll down over here and we can say something like dollar, and now we'll get access to the item list. So I'll say hash item list, and I'll type in dot append because we want to append to that particular list, and we wish to append the total price string which we have just created. So once we go ahead and do that, let's see if this thing works. So now when I hit refresh, as you can see, it says your total, and we have the total up over here, which means that this thing now works. So now let's actually go ahead and add a few more items. Let's say if I add a couple bags here, and now if we go to the cart and check out, as you can see, as we have added 4 bags in here, the cost for 4 bags is $400, and 400 plus 300 is 700, plus 600 is 1300, and that's what our total is. That means now we have successfully displayed the total number of items, the total number of the total cost of each item, and the grand total of our existing order as well. So that's it for this lecture, and in the next lecture what we will do is that we'll go ahead and make a provision to actually submit this total order cost to the database as well. So right now, if you'll notice, we only have access to the total number of items and the user details over here, but now we'll go ahead and create a field to actually store the total price as well. So we are going to do that in the next lecture. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.